on your channel. See if it pops up.
I did. Yeah, it's live.
Yep, it's live. Alright, we got it live.
Yeah. I know. I don't know.
It doesn't seem live. I'm on the channel.
He can hear us.
You can hear us? Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
Can you
CT
hear us?
says you can hear us. Yeah. I don't see the
Oh,
video
there we are.
cutting.
There we are.
There.
We're there.
Oh my god.
All right. I love it. Love it. We're working at the kinks, dude.
Oh, now
Jedi Chris
muted.
says he can't hear you.
Now should be unmuted. Okay. What a clusterfuck. Episode 2 of Last Night This Morning. Welcome everyone to our Snyderverse discussion. First of all, okay, so Commander Green, say now no one can hear me now?
I don't know. Can we?
It's like a delay. I think now you should be able to be heard.
Oh, okay,
Fixed it.
okay, cool. All
Yeah.
right. Oh, it is a delay.
The OBS is like 20, maybe 30 seconds behind.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So we're good now. All right. So let me just completely ignore the chat for a little bit then. Because it's fucking me up. All right. So pretty much what just happened while everyone was in the other voice chat is that OBS didn't auto start my stream. I hit start stream and I was like, hey man, you got to click this fucking button over here to start the stream. Well, I think I double clicked it. So it started the stream and then ended the stream right away. So, and I couldn't restart that for some reason because I'm a total fucking noob. But hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for coming in. And as you can see, this illustrious, like we have so much hair on this stream right now. It's amazing.
It's the only YouTube channel with this much hair.
Exactly. I mean, shit. Let's
Right
introduce the panel. My co-host to my, I guess, camera left is none other than Mr. Doc Smizzle. What's up, sir?
Hello.
Oh,
Which way am I looking? Am I looking this way? Yeah, what's going on, man? Happy to do episode 2 of Last Night This Morning. Great new show featuring all of us. So feeling great, feeling good. Missed you all. Let's talk some Snipper.
Snipper. Oh. All right. And right underneath this sandwich that we're creating is none other than the cult master himself. Don't drink the juice, Mr. V. What is going on, sir?
What up? What up? What up? What's going on, my man? Thanks for inviting me back onto the here Last Night This Morning, episode 2. Good streak going right now, 2 for 2. I'm happy to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I still feel it's undervalued and underappreciated by the masses. So I'm happy to get on this little soapbox and yell at everybody.
Oh yeah, we're gonna we're gonna go. I don't know how deep we're gonna go. I'm gonna try because I know Doc is representing the GA, the general audience out there. Doc, you told me that you did not see
That's
these
right.
movies in theaters.
Did not. I think it took me a couple years actually to see these movies.
You never.
Even Man of Steel, because I was
Oh,
just like me,
Oh
whatever.
man, come on now.
But and I'll hold a lot of my my thought. But yeah, it took me a couple of years to see these films.
oh, well, this will be the last episode Doc's on because I don't accept that behavior. I'm just fucking with you. No, it's all good.
We're taking him out.
I would bring up a chat. I don't have that ability here. Thanks everyone in the chat for.
Well, let me see if I can do something about that.
Oh, whoa! Wait a minute.
I got.
Would it be like on your screen?
Oh boy,
Yeah, but I'll see what I. Hold on, give me 1 second here.
No, but yeah, it would probably work out fairly well one way or another. But while he's doing that, you were saying.
Oh, I was going to say we also might have a fourth guest. Haven't heard from him yet, but hopefully he pops up and he'll be part of this conversation too. As one's in the shadows, is always lurking and watching. So hopefully he pops up. We lost our boy. What were we going to say?
You didn't lose anything. I'm screen testing a lot of this stuff, so you got to give me a hot second before I don't want to put something up and then everything is like out of control over here.
Right,
so.
he accidentally, might put something on screen that shouldn't belong there, and so just to kind of help vamp for a minute, we.
Whoa! And I just labeled this stream for kids too.
Yeah.
No, just
no, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Just don't. We wouldn't want something like that to pop up on screen without warning, and
oh my.
It worked out perfect.
There you go. Well, that's it for the stream. That was the Snyderverse talk. Got him. How's your weekend been, man?
It's been good. It's been good. It's a lot of stuff that I still need to get out of storage, and one of these days I'm gonna find a weekend to finally get it all done. But just wasn't this weekend. Did a lot of yard work, and that was fun.
Same here, man. Same here. I did yard work the last 2-3 days, and my body's like, "What are you doing? Why are you pushing this fucking mower around?" Oh man, yeah.
I gotta get underneath my mower. Actually, it's got a bunch of thatch all spun up in it, and it's supposed to be like propelled, but I'm doing all the pushing. You know what I mean? Because the gearbox is stuck because of all the stuff. So, yeah.
Hey, hold on. Take care. Hold on. My kid is looking at me funny. Take care of something real quick. All right, hold on. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. I'm still here. I'm not gone. I'm just trying to figure out the chat log. I have it up, but it's a little bit too not. I need to zoom it in. So just you got to give me a hot second here. A hot second, please.
Don't worry. You can take all the time that you need. You can have a hot potato for all I care.
A baked potato with nothing in it.
Or is the chat saying though, like hot tomatoes? Maybe it looks like Commander Green's, posting 3 tomatoes and laughing faces, and
he just threw it right in our faces.
Anyways, it's Paul, Marie, and Doc. What's up, hockey talk?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't understand what that means. I don't want to talk hockey. This isn't a hockey stream. You know that. No Canuck talk here.
We could make it a hockey stream, but the Panthers have been injured and they're sucking dick. So.
Thanks, Dylan, for saying balls. Appreciate that.
Positive thoughts.
That's right. Which is will be. We'll talk about this verse, man. This cinematic universe is definitely something. It should be a thesis in like film school of like what to do and not what to do as a movie studio, because Warner Brothers is just in shambles. Even to this day is just in complete shambles. That's right.
Is that all Joss Whedon's fault?
No,
Zack Snyder's fault?
It's not even Zack Snyder's fault. It's just money hungry studio execs fault is what we're gonna really talk about.
I think that's where you should really start this thing. Is like, you know, with the Zack Snyder, it's like it transformed from a trilogy or more than a trilogy to kind of being a cult classic or a cult fairy tale to this movement that hasn't been seen or replicated since its inception. So writing a whole theory about it is kind of on the point of like in cinema history, like where does this land? Like where, like, you know, this is a staple and it's still going strong today. And I think that's why we're gathered here to talk about it, of like the past, the present, and the future of the Zack Snyder verse.
That's right. You know, the
Let's
internet
take
tells
a closer look
at the details. Yeah, you know, the internet tells me I should hate all this and it's bad, but even to this day we're still getting merch, from hot toys to figures to statues to re-releases to you know, for something that's so hated yet it's still much appreciated, you know. It wasn't easy being a DC fan around this time, definitely, because you had all of social media, because we all know the world is only what Twitter perceives it as. Like, it's not, nothing else outside of Twitter is real. Only Twitter is real. You know, but like, you know, just getting shat on from all directions, from the MCU fans to the classic DC movie fans, the not my Superman crew, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I felt like you just couldn't win. And I love this IP, regardless of who acts in it, who directs it, what movie. You know, I'll reserve my judgments for the future of this IP as far as on the silver screen, due to me not really being a fan of like their current leader. I'm not really such a huge James Gunn fan. I don't know what to expect from this current Superman. I really don't. Yeah, dude, like ever since, you know, just the beginning, like ever since he broke his neck, Superman broke Zod's neck, that was just like the biggest, like, oh my God, Superman would never do that. And I'm like, I mean, you know, and then everyone's like, oh my God, Man of Steel, it's 9/11 porn. And I'm just like, so and you know, that third act of the Avengers isn't 9/11 porn. It's not like their buildings are crumbling or anything. You know, it's so weird, you know, like, so yeah, just going back to that, it's just like very difficult for me. Like, it was just very stressful. What about you guys? Well, except for Doc, because Doc's like, I just saw this 10 minutes ago.
pretty much, yeah.
No, but I was in that same camp. I've been in that same camp for a very long time, of like I was supportive of why I think I did it. I think I did it, boys. Hold on.
Whoa.
Hold the phone. Did we do it? Let me see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Well, I don't see you.
Can you see the chat? Does it look good?
Oh, we're gonna have to make you.
Is it,
I don't think I
look
can.
all right?
Well, I don't think I can
We'll
make
have to
you any
big
bigger.
screen. Hold on. Well,
No,
let's
you
see
can't
what
make
it
me
looks
bigger,
like
but
on
can you see
YouTube
it?
here in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, let's see how it looks. Unless if I'm flipped or not, I don't know.
No, it's just
Oh,
the
shit, I
limitation
can't
of
open that up.
Discord.
Yeah, Doc, you gotta be my eyes and ears here, because I only can get this chat right here. I mean, I can make it a little bit bigger.
It's tiny. Yeah,
It's
you're gonna
tiny.
have to.
I
Rough it a little
promise you,
bit.
the production in this show will improve as episodes come.
It won't.
It won't. No, yeah, we should just keep it shitty, just like fucking Shazam 2.
No, it
Yeah,
should be shitty. I think that's like the charm in it. You know,
Sure.
that it is shitty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is something that's supposed to be, you know,
be perfect.
yeah, it's supposed to be fun. I'm not gonna make a fucking living off of this, or, you know, just whatever. Anyways, V, as you were saying, you were knee deep in the bullshit with me, so
yeah, I was dude. It's because it's wild. Because like I get what they were trying to go for. Like so you gotta. No one really understands like the idea of what DC is, and how Marvel is. Marvel is more of a contemporary storytelling, where it's like just ordinary men with, you know, in supernatural situations. Like the reason people feel relatable to Spider-Man is because he's a normal teen with normal issues, and then on top of that, he has to deal with super villains. Same thing with Iron Man, and you know, and Black Panther or whatever. You can go with a down the list, like the X-Men, right? You know, with the racism, or just being alienated from a community, right? How does that feel to be like isolated just for just being individualized for your own identity? But DC is completely different. It's like, what if gods were among men, right? How does
Yes.
that apply to the modern storytelling? And that's the kind of way that Zack Snyder took it from the reins of Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan took like, what would Batman be in modern times, and how would that relate, and how would that work? And so he built upon that of like a realistic Superman of like, what would that be like with all the scenarios that we have? Like, would we welcome an alien? Would we welcome a person that's just more superpowered than any of us? You know, we cower or get, our jealousy comes from those that do better than us, because we only know our own limitation. It's like that, you know, you're always green with envy. Like you see a group of girls, like, and you know, you see this big titty girl come down, that girl with the small
Ooh.
tits, fuck her. Well, and then the guys are like, yeah, fuck her. I don't know. Is this rated R? Can we swear on here? 'Cause
Sure,
it's too
go
late.
for it.
Yeah,
I mean, we just saw Smeagol penis. It's all
Whatever.
good.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
So when you go into that aspect and you have that idea of Zack Snyder taking like, all right, how does this one person who grew up human with godlike powers be accepted into a universe that he has no control over? And going to that point, right? Because I can go down that line to what happened with Zod, but for me to stop yammering, and so you guys get a sentence in. When he looked at Zod and he broke that neck, it wasn't that like, oh my God, Superman killed. It was like, no, you don't get it. What's happening here?
Yeah.
Superman isn't killing just to kill. He's killing the last of his kind. Like the one thing that he wanted connection more than anything else. That he was always bullied in school for being different, always told to be not super with himself, and then finally he can be himself and know more about his own people. And he was forced to choose between random humans that he has no affiliation with, but is deeply sorry. It was like, where is your origins lay with? Is it your birthright? Is it who you born with, or who you grew up with? So people that are adopted, right? That when you're adopted, you don't have. It's like, how are you classified? Is it the love and caring of that family that is your real family, or is it who are you blood related with? So that it's that kind of that choice of like, Superman had to make, is that he was willing to give up all of his cultural background and ideas just for people that shunned him and hated him, but he grew up with them knowing that he could love them, and that's the origin of Superman. That's why he's always the Boy Scout, because humanity can be great, right? It's like they're like I think Marlon Brando said it in his speech to when in the Christopher Reeves version. It's like they have hope. Like it's like they're very fragile and they're very frightened,
Mhm.
but they have greatness in them, Kal-El, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of idea that they were toying with, and at the end there, and it's very tragic, and why he screams out, and it gives that idea for Superman to why he shouldn't kill in the future, because he knows what it takes away from life, like what it takes away from everything else, is that now he really is the last son of Krypton. So that's that in a way, that's why I love that one moment in Man of Steel, and Man of Steel gets better and better every year, even though people always give it that negative feedback. Like it's just
that
whatever.
movie. It's my favorite of the three for sure. I think Man of Steel is a fantastic sci-fi movie, especially like the first act with like Krypton. Like Krypton went from and it was. I'm going back to read like John Byrne's run of Superman, Man of Steel and all that stuff. So I've been kind of caught up in that. But like, really, in the comics, Krypton was never like fucking this plain ice world with crystals and aluminum foil for suits. It never was. It was a vibrant planet with scientists. It had an ecosystem. It had life on its planet. So when we finally got to see that in Man of Steel, I'm like, fuck yes, here we go. And for those. So for the haters out there that are like, oh, the BVS Doomsday sucked. Well, if you pay close attention to the moon in Krypton, it's broken. There's a piece missing, and in the comics, Doomsday caused that damage to the moon. So it kind of makes you wonder if there's the real Doomsday is still out there.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm trying. All right.
No, bro. No, it's fine. It's fine.
You have to try.
I see the chat, dude. It's right in my screen. I'm trying to help out everybody so you can be seen. All right, these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just it's a good movie. To me, it was a good start. The thing about these movies is that I love that I didn't have to force myself to watch 87 movies to get to one part of the story or to understand a part of the story. It was just your normal movie making of here's a movie, then here's a movie that connects with that movie. Here you go, blah, blah, blah. Unlike MCU, where it's like, I have to kind of watch everything, not necessarily to get the main plot, but like I'm going to miss things here and there, like inside jokes, isn't that blah, blah, blah. I just don't like that. It's very television. It shouldn't be. It is what it is. People like it. So Man of Steel comes out divisive. It's the start. Makes 600 million plus, in its box office. So they okay the sequel, and they announced at Comic-Con Batman v Superman finally, which was also a movie that was like in development hell. I mean, we heard murmurs. We heard rumors that they were working on a script. We did see an advertisement in it in the movie I Am Legend. And that kind of sparked like, oh my God, is this being made? What's going on here? So that gets announced, and then it breaks the internet with Ben Affleck's announcement as Batman, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Doc, were you one of those guys who was like, what the fuck?
I was. Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe I wouldn't say like I was indifferent, honestly, because I was like, it's Ben Affleck. I don't really, but yeah, sorry, I'm not. I was that was my reaction right here. Just very.
Right, I'll give you my fucking reaction, dude.
Well, before you go, I just want to admit that I was a hater. I was like, really, fucking Ben Affleck? Because I can't remember if this was before Academy Award winning, like before The Town Ben Affleck, if you know what I'm saying. Like, to me, I still had Paycheck Ben Affleck in my head. Geely Ben Affleck. So I'm like, oh my God, this fucking guy's Ben Affleck, or this guy's fucking Batman, So I was just like, oh God. But I was also the same way with Heath Ledger. And, when Heath Ledger was announced as Joker, I was like, this fucking guy from fucking Brokeback Mountain. Oh shit. And well, then he blew us all away.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah. And, and now Ben Affleck is my favorite Batman. Go ahead, sir.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, it was that camp of you don't know what we're doing, like how did he do it? And we already had an exposure of his comic book accurate portrayal of an action star called Daredevil. Like, we saw what he could do as a man at night that's swinging around, in a tight costume. So hearing that he did it, and there was because the thing is, it's like the reason it was such a backlash is that you got to realize, like, we just came off the hype of Bale, and Bale just finished the Dark Knight Rises, and now we're already introduced to a new Batman, and where that lies of like, okay, well, what are they doing with this? They want an older Batman, like, all right, get Josh Brolin, Get Josh Brolin as Batman. He was the leading contender.
Yep, he was Zack Snyder's pick for Batman.
Yeah, they wanted him, and I'm like, everyone was like, they put side by side. He's like, he looks perfect. He's great. We would loved him as the Dark Knight. But then but the thing was is that what we didn't realize is like how much of a fan that Batman fan he was. Like Ben Affleck is the ultimate nerd. Like I knew it when I watched The Accountant, and he's grabbing like some valuables, and some of the values he gets are some CGC graded like comics, like the first Justice League, the first appearance of Green Lantern. And I'm like, dude, this man is such a nerd. There's no way a writer would put that in if it wasn't him. But but even Kevin Smith came to the defense of him, saying is like, this guy has his own Batcave. Like, he knows Batman in and out more than any other actor probably out there. Like, you're just gonna get another performance. Like, Bale didn't know Batman. Like, he just kind of get in. It was like he took the role because it was his first major leading role since American Psycho.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, it was like, this is pretty great. And they probably saw like, hey, he's a great Bruce Wayne. He can fill in for the and he's a great actor, so he can fill in no matter what. It's weird to me because when I still watch the film, I didn't believe he was a great Batman after even watching Batman versus Superman. And then watching him in the Justice League, like the Justice League, the sequel one, it just tanked it even further. I was like, this is the worst. What are we doing here, guys? Like, yeah, burn it all. But I'll go into like the redemption here of my views of Ben Affleck.
Go ahead, Doc.
Oh yeah, when I never saw like the Joss Whedon Justice League.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch!
Saw that version.
Oh my god, dude!
So Batman versus Superman. I think I went straight to the director's cut. So very indifferent in that movie because I know it was like very like I think like it was kind of it was panned for the theatrical cut. So I was like, well, I'll just watch the director's cut, and I like that a lot. I thought that was because that goes along with like my overall arc with this with the Zack Snyder verse. But I actually did come away really enjoying Ben Affleck's performance as Batman in the end, and honestly, like after kind of feeling burned by the Nolan Batman, and I do somewhat like some elements of the Nolan Batman trilogy, but really it's only The Dark Knight, and it's because of Heath Ledger and his performance as the Joker. Otherwise, I really don't care for that trilogy as much as I would like to think that I do.
Oh my!
I mean, it's understandable. A lot of people feel that same way.
But Ben Affleck was badass. He, everyone talks about the warehouse scene and how like vicious, he came off. So
it's the best. That warehouse scene.
Bleed.
That warehouse scene is definitely the best cinematic Batman montage ever. Like that dude kicks some serious ass, and we'll get into. We'll get into Batman v Superman as a movie like here in a little bit. We'll get a little bit deep into that, but like that. So Chris Nolan's editing when it came to his Batman fight scenes was like very quick edits, a lot of more defense than actual offense. You didn't really see Keaton kick any ass at all. He could barely move in the suit as is. We didn't really get to see his Batman kick any ass till the Flash. But that whole entire warehouse rescue, they call it the Martha rescue scene. Especially coming from the Arkham games, was fucking everything. From taking on 3 dudes at the same time, whooping some ass, and just looking just extremely menacing, and with the cape flowing in the air. It was everything. And I think that scene alone is why I love Ben Affleck's Batman, and not only looking the most comic accurate as well with his suit. I mean, we never really got this type of suit before. It was always, just a deep black with a yellow oval, or some douchey looking motorcyclist or some shit like that from the Nolan movies. So it was really good to finally see like a Batman that I saw in the comic books. I think his Bruce Wayne was he wasn't the hopeful Batman that everyone wanted. He had a character arc in there where he's already been Batman for 20 plus years. Robin died. He's losing it, you know, and now he sees there's this extraterrestrial threat out there. There's the chat. I mean, I can't really.
Does it work? You can't see it? Does it work better?
There we go. Hold on. Well, I can see it like on my end. I don't know about the audience, but like I can see it on my end, so that's fine.
So this will
I'll let you know in a couple seconds.
It should. I made it a little bit bigger. So, but as you were saying,
It works for now. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
you know, and you know, Sinister over here saying I feel the whole using guns thing is not very Batman. Like, well, I mean, Batman used the guns in the 40s. He used a pistol. Batman used machine guns on his car and on his airplane in 89. Batman has fucking cannons on the Tumbler. Batman has always used some sort of weaponry on his stuff. Okay.
Doesn't he have turrets on the 89 one, right?
Yeah, he had turrets.
Jazz Inc. one, yeah. The Brownings on them,
Yeah. You know, and the thing is that I feel like that whole no kill rule was really implemented, you know, in the Nolan verse. Like, oh, don't kill, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like, that's what a hero's supposed to do, not kill his enemies. But you're also missing the point of the story of where that character is in his life. You know, he's much more brutal. And it shows in Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, he uses that brute force against aliens. You know what I'm saying? When they're out in Heroes Park and Superman's resurrected and he's fighting the League and shit like that, Batman picks up a soldier. He's like, hey, brother, are you all right? He's asking someone if they're okay. So, like, he's no longer that dark, ultra-violent Batman. So, just keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead.
I want to elaborate on that. Like, because Sinister, absolutely right. Doesn't feel very Batman. And you're 100% right. Well, there's actually one thing I do want to say. Dylan, don't ever fucking say this to me ever again, that you were in elementary school when you heard this about Batman. You don't need to say you were there. It's cool. Just say you heard it when you were young. I feel like I'm ancient. I'm about to fucking turn to dust. Jedi Chris, yes, the bat suit, the way they revealed it, absolute legendary.
Yep.
Like, I don't think there's been a better reveal of a suit. I don't know if do you have that picture?
I am going to try to bring it up. Yeah, I'll bring it up right now here real quick.
If you want, you can send it me and I can just bring it on my screen right here. Absolute legendary of a reveal. And there was so much discussion on that one picture. So love it, love it, love it. Motherfucker has Browning guns on the 89. Yeah, he does. He does. He does. Dylan, yeah, the no kill rule was definitely a staple of Batman, even in the Dark Knight Returns from Frank Miller. He had a no kill rule on that. Even from then, like, he beat up the mutants, never killed them.
They might have their injuries later though after he beats the shit out of them, but that's not his fault though.
Hey, she's with big boobs. That's great, man. I want to see you don't run in slow motion. But the thing is, it's like, I think that the writers established the no kill so he can be different from the villains, because if he's killing all these people and putting all these people, and it's the same thing with Superman. It's like, well, Superman should just kill everybody, right?
This picture.
So it's always the idea of you got to be better than the people that you're putting away, or else you're just as bad as them. I hope so. I don't think so. I think I am older than I look. I am very ancient. But to go back to why he kills in this movie, there's the one speech where Ben Affleck gives as Bruce Wayne to Alfred, and he's like the percentage speech, right?
Yeah.
He has been at this game for like 20 years, right? 20 or 30 years. And everything he's done for Gotham, nothing's changed. Nothing in this whole entire world has changed for him. In the Gotham, the world, or anything. So what's the difference if he starts killing again? He's lost everything. You saw he lost Wayne Manor. It burned up somehow. Robin's gone. The only hope that he would have as a new aspiration. The Joker still runs wild. Villains are all over the place. So for him to kill, it's like it doesn't matter at this point. Superman changes that for him. Like as you said, like he picks up that guy. He's like, "What's up, brother? How's it going?" He has a new renewed faith in humanity because of Superman. The hope that he gives him.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the Batcave speech where even Alfred sees that he's getting a little bit too much with the branding and all that. You know, he's like, "Oh, new rules," and it's just you have to look at it from that point, and it goes back to what I love about the Snyderverse and even like the outside movies that want to tie the Snyderverse into, like the Flash. Everything goes back to the day the world was introduced to Superman, right? The whole Metropolis and the invasion and stuff. Everything is connected to that. So you see it from Bruce's eyes, and he, it gets destroyed. He's there trying to save people. He just doesn't believe in the good that is Superman. He just doesn't believe that. He's like, okay, and it's also in the comic. It's the contingency, right? It's like you don't fully trust someone because you never know what's going to happen.
Right. Like that's the Tower of Babel, like storyline of that. Batman always had contingency for all the heroes and villains and the heroes.
Yeah. But anyways, so there's the thesis on Batman. So let's get into exactly BVS as far as like we'll do a quick history run on it. So this movie was also a victim of studio meddling. Actually, the original script was not going to be what this movie was. It wasn't until Ben Affleck jumped on, read the script, and he's like, "Look, I know a guy. His name's Chris Terrio. He just won an Oscar. Let's go ahead and rewrite this." Argo. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. He won it for Argo. Yeah. So they rewrote the movie. It was originally going to feature Metallo. Doomsday was not involved. The dark, dramatic, sort of political thriller stuff wasn't in there. It was just going to be your generic movie. And I think even the studio wasn't really happy with that first draft, so they went ahead and rewrote it to what it is today. So the what you saw, the director's cut, the Ultimate Edition, was the original vision, what was supposed to release in theaters. So
great because it was badass and
exactly.
Controversial take, and I'll expand on it more later, but. I really do like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and I know that it's a very hot take, but carry on. We can touch on that later.
So the studio had mandated Snyder to edit the movie. So, Doc, have you ever seen the theatrical version of this movie?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so.
So it's very rushed, and you kind of lose why. I mean, the main part of why Batman is a little questionable of Superman is still there, but like as far as like you actually don't see Clark go to Gotham to investigate the Batman. You don't see him going, well, why is this guy running around being a vigilante and like the people of Gotham are scared, this and that, blah, blah, blah. You don't see that. It's all of a sudden it's like in the movie, it's like he saves Lois Lane. He gets blamed for wrongly deaths of people, this and that, blah, blah. And then it's just like, that's it and stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, here, by the way. And then they were like, oh, well, during the production, they announced that Snyder will also direct Justice League. And you can kind of feel it in the movie. There's a scene where it kind of brings the whole movie to a halt where Diana's watching the videos from Luthor's hard drive and stuff like that of all the other Justice League members. To me, that's like the worst scene of the movie because literally these two are about to go at it, but you're just going to like throw this in the middle. And like Bruce Wayne emails her in the middle of this while like still like on the building and shit. I'm like, oh, come on. We get it. There's going to be a Justice League. We get it. So
I feel like that was a Marvel thing. You know what I mean? Like that was like, hey, Marvel's doing something to tease more. Do that. And that was like a post-production. It's like, all right, we casted everybody. We got everyone in. Here's everybody's origin story really quickly.
Yeah, let's quote unquote, let's force this upon everybody. So this is okay. So then you get this theatrical version, which I still liked. It's what made me like the movie. But it's about a half hour short. Scenes are moved around. It is a little bit disjointed. And they only did it just to try to fit in as many theaters as they could. Opening weekend, movie makes $800+ million, which is awesome. But the very next weekend, like a 68% drop, 70% drop, kind of like what this current Captain America movie was going through, like where it did a huge
like
drop.
Mickey 17 too. Yeah, they
Yeah.
had like a 70% drop on the second week. But
Yeah, I think people, studios kind of need to relax on that stat because it's expensive to go to a movie theater. It really is. So I don't think people are going to watch if they're going to spend the movie. If they're going to spend the money to go to a movie theater, I don't think they're going to go see a movie again. Or at least those days are over.
Yeah.
I
mean, it is or isn't, because I think the thing is, it's like movies have not built in the value of watching it in the theater. If you want to talk like value, look at Nolan. People understand the value of a Nolan film. Like Nolan came to Universal after he left with Warner Brothers of how they did with the streaming stuff. Mm-hmm. Told them, it's like, I want to do a historical biopic about Oppenheimer. That's not really an action movie. And that movie almost grossed $1 billion because people knew when you're watching a Nolan film, you have to watch it in the theater or nowhere else. It doesn't equate. So that's the whole point of these new films, where they need to reestablish that trust again with the audience. Go ahead.
There's another comment or another pillar, I guess, of the movie going, economy is really the, like, I would guess you would say maybe probably like the 16 to like 20-year-olds, kids that, are teenagers, adolescents that go to movies on dates and stuff. I really don't think like that's a thing anymore. Like, I mean, I have teenagers and stuff. They're not really frequenting, any of the newer box office movies. They'd rather, go do other things,
They'd rather have they could stream. Companies have
streaming, Netflix and chill.
Yeah, that's the whole thing of like, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go to my friend's house to watch a movie or whatever. Or even what we're doing now, Discord has like kind of eliminated that, where we're on individual, like right here, these communications where we don't have to go out. We can hang out with our friends and do what we want to do. Like everybody's competing with a certain entertainment cycle, where movies used to be the fashion icon, the song of the year, and as well as like the zeitgeist of what your next popular catchphrase is going to be. And it's moved on from that to like, YouTubers, TikToks, or whatever, or anything else that's between those things. So, but I think we're going on a tangent beyond
it's
the
fine.
Zack Snyder thing.
No, it's fine. I wanted to add is that I think without Barbie, Oppenheimer wouldn't have made its money, because
you think so?
The Barbenheimer meme. I mean, Doc.
No, I think it's the other way around, man. I think for Barbie wouldn't have made that money without Oppenheimer.
I think. Barbie was
I think they both were. It was like a symbiotic relationship. Like, I did it. I went and did the whole Barbenheimer thing, and that shit was fucking awesome. Like, I saw people, like my wife and I also included. We were dressed up in like, Barbie like shit, and we were kind of like dressed up like if we had been like at the Bikini Atoll, like, so we were kind of like in beachwear and shit. I like Barbie style. Because, like, think about it. Like, when they dropped those nukes out there, there's people that lived on those islands that were probably like, what the hell was that? So, it was cool.
I want to see
a great
the Bobby
experience. Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Fun. Like, the Barbie theater experience was remarkable. Like, that was the only time I ever wanted to see a theater as rowdy as it was, because, like, people were hooting and hollering, and I was like, you know what? I'm fine with it because it made the movie better.
Yeah, that's what we're striving to. We're always chasing that end game kind of experience of like Cap picking up the Mjolnir hammer. We're not getting that anymore, and it's good that organic synergy of Barbenheimer still kind of picked up momentum, but we still haven't yet to see it like They're
Right.
trying to.
It's small flashes in the pan of,
Yeah.
I still enjoy the movie going experience. It's difficult to go like for every freaking movie.
Yeah.
But what's worth your move? What's your
Right.
what ticket today is worth like your dollar, right? What movie this week is like this year coming out? Like, was Captain America worth, driving to the theaters, making your
No.
whole evening, sitting there and like, all right, yeah, I had a great time. It was like a mid movie. It was like it's good, but it was beyond that. But the thing was, it's like I think it goes back to Batman v Superman of like there was a lot of disconnect on what the story should be, right?
Correct.
Like they have one aspect of Batman versus Superman, but it really was the dawn of justice. Like this is how the Justice League formed.
Yeah.
Like it was a precursor. It really should have been Superman 2, Dawn of Justice. That's what it should have been called, or Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, I think just the audience was trained in the Marvel way of like, they just they thought they were coming in to like those 2 episodes of the New Adventures of Superman where Batman's called the World's Finest. I think people were expecting something like that. They weren't expecting exactly.
So dark.
Yeah. Oh God.
Turning up from the DC universe.
So, anyways. This movie not necessarily tanks in the box office. It still makes $800 million. I think the expectations was like $1 billion. Whoop-de-doo. It made money. It made money. I don't think it made a lot of money.
Make enough money. Yeah.
The merchandise was everywhere. Oh, I mean, dude, earlier I was wearing fucking Batman v Superman PJs, dude. I got a bunch of shirts, cups, the action figures, the fucking hot toys, the merch was nuts. It was so fun. But
the wildest aspect I didn't expect from the fans was like the warm exception or critical exception of Wonder Woman. Like there was no hype for Wonder Woman, but when we saw her in film, everyone was like, "Holy shit!" Like literally blown away.
Yeah,
by Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
of all people.
The general consensus is that people who didn't like the movie, which I do want to comment that I think that movie is finding its footing. Because people who saw it first were like, whatever. They're coming back to it and they're like, it wasn't really that bad as I thought it was. So maybe it's going to be like Blade Runner where it just tanked in the box office and then it'll find its audience down the road. Who knows?
I actually really like that first Wonder Woman movie.
It's a great movie.
Third act was a little weak though, but like for the most part, it was a good
Once
movie.
Again, studio meddling. They rewrote that third act. It's like really like, dude, just let these people work. That's why you hire them, right? Just let it work. If it works with the audience, it works. If it doesn't, you let the audience decide that. Don't just decide it for us, and you're gonna have a shit product. Right?
Yeah, just like Doc's favorite director, Rain Johnson.
That was like awful gamble. I forgot where we were. Oh, yeah. So anyways,
this is audience reception.
So Justice League goes into production all in the middle of this Batman v Superman. So what happens is that Warner Brothers once again goes and does a knee-jerk reaction once again. Tells Snyder and Terrio rewrite the movie. And right here, I do have, bring it up. I am going to show you guys as soon as I can find it.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Let's see what he does.
All right. So we'll come to this where this came from pretty much. So when the Snyder Cut was announced here in beautiful Dallas, Texas, AT&T, when they had bought HBO, held a oh no, what happened?
Oh no.
Why does it do that? Sorry, I'm still new to OBS, guys. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I wonder if I do it here. I can do it here. Hold on. Full screen. Does it look like, do you see like us and this thing on full screen now on the stream? I don't know. I can't tell.
There's a lag here. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
of course.
It takes like 20 seconds to verify. Yeah.
There it is. I
I
can see
do.
it now.
All right, but we're
Hold
also
on.
visible on screen. I just kind of want.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
we're still there. We're
Yeah.
still there. We're
All
still
right,
there.
cool. So when the Snyder Cut was announced, AT&T had a world of Zack Snyder's Justice League at the AT&T headquarters building, and I went to that, and in there was the Nightmare suit, which I'll show you guys pictures later. They had a cyborg, the cloak the cyborg wore. They had the Jared Loder Joker outfit. They had the Flash suit. And they had a whole bunch of like really high definition photos that Zack took of Leto, Affleck, which they auctioned off. It was like I so wanted one, man, but I couldn't afford it. But in the middle of that exhibit, they had the storyboards of what Justice League was supposed to be. Shout out to the dailyplanet.com. They did this fantastic presentation of this. Here's the AT&T building. They were all in for this. So the storyboards pretty much shows, as you can see in the picture right here, they were in the middle of it. It was just like one circle that you went around here. It's right here. They would not allow you to take pictures, even though someone did, like an employee who worked at the building when they were setting this up. They took pictures of everything, leaked it online. They had the original plans for Justice League, and it involved a whole bunch of shit that the studio probably deemed like, oh shit, this is crazy. The Legion and Doomed were in fact involved. Jesse Eisenberg was going to have a bigger role because he was the ones that called the Apocalyptians. And then we were going to have Captain Cold from the Flash movie. We were going to have Dr. Poison from the Wonder Woman movie. We were going to have Black Mantis and stuff like that to be the Legion of Doom. So there's just the original story beams. The Riddler was also involved. All this is Jim Lee art, by the way. Like, he drew on those storyboards. The Riddler was involved. He solved the Omega, God, I can't believe I'm completely
the anti-life equation.
Anti-life equation.
Man.
Thank you. I was thinking of Omega Beam. Sorry. Yeah, he solved the anti-life equation to the point where it drove him insane and he blew his brains out in front of Batman.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Put on me this, Batman.
so here we go. So pretty much what makes Superman and Darkseid go at it in one of the Justice League movies, and he goes into the Batcave and he kills Lois Lane, which you do see in Cyborg's vision in the movie. You see him holding a charred body, and Darkseid comes up behind him, and that's how he falls into the anti-life equation, which gives us the Nightmare scenario. So there was going to be a Justice League movie, like I think this would have been the sequel where it would have taken place in this Nightmare era. And it would have explained that. That's why a lot of people were just really confused about all those nightmare scenes in BVS. They're like, what is this? This was going to explain everything. So the movie would have ended with, the war between Earth and Apocalypse. It would have been a callback to that, a war between, the Atlanteans, humans, and the Amazonians against Darkseid and his forces. It would have been the world's militaries with the Green Lanterns and the Justice League fighting that. That would have been a great payoff. So WB decided, and we'll get back to this here. I'll bring this up later when we start talking about the movie. So WB decided that this was just too much and too crazy, and they went ahead. They went ahead and they said, look, we need you to kind of lighten up. So Zack was like, sure, no problem. So, he was rewriting and refilming, and in the middle of that, his kid commits suicide. So he tries to go back to work. And, while he's dealing with that tragedy, the studio is on him about, the movie, making, they're sending Jeff Johns over there, hounding him. They're sending John Berg out there hounding him. He finally was like, you know what? I need to step aside. I need to go away. So he, by his own power, said, I am stepping away from Justice League. In the middle, now he did film his movie. He shot two movies. He shot his movie, and he shot what the studio wanted. So after he leaves, let me bring up my notes again so I don't fucking forget. After he leaves, WB says, we're bringing in Joss Whedon to finish the movie. some minor reshoots, which was a complete bullshit lie. If you watch what that atrocity is known as Justice League, he practically reshot the entire movie, but still keeping the main plot of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So Doc, you've never seen that theatrical. So basically the story is the same, but it's like if a 5th grader wrote it and filmed it.
Right, like Avenger. Yeah, like
Avengers, yeah.
dumbed down. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really bad, dude.
Yeah, like it really, like, dude, my favorite out of Winter Soldier, my favorite Marvel movie is the first Avengers movie. So when he was announced, I was like, oh, okay. A win-win situation, right? Wrong. That movie comes out, and you also start hearing a bunch of rumors of like just the major reshoots, changing the movie. Henry Cavill had to come back, but he was under contract to not shave his fucking mustache. So there was rumors that they were CGIing over his mustache. And I was like, it's all right. It'll look good. So I sit my ass Thursday night of premiere of this fucking movie. And what do I see within the first 20 fucking seconds is this atrocity that is Henry Cavill with like a fucking, like a, hey, how's it going, guys? Life is like a fucking waterway or something, right? And I'm like, we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
Oh no.
Yeah. The movie was just a complete departure of, like, you could tell it wasn't a Zack Snyder. It was too colorful. I know someone had a someone mentioned that, you know, we were having a discussion in Discord saying how I don't see how Justice League is dark, but then, you know, I think it was CT and Sinister were like, well, the palette, you know, like the things are dark and stuff like that. Well, they turned up the brightness and the contrast, and I thought the suits looked even worse and like more comic-y. So like I felt like just when you make suits for movie, you have to like keep in mind of color grading and all that stuff. So that's what they didn't do. That's why when you see Superman come, his suit looks really uber like well, not even blue, like almost like a teal. Let me see if I can bring this picture up real quick.
I got like a few pictures for you too.
Yeah, go ahead, bring them up, man.
Yeah, so for those that want to see what he looked like filming Superman as Superman, with the mustache, this is what he actually looked like. So let me bring this over here. Look at
there
that.
You go.
Bad boy. Yeah, so this is him. This is the famous Flash scene at the end. This is what they filmed this. They're like, yeah, these are post-credit scenes. They have one more here. Here's another one where you can see here. I can't really zoom in as much more here, but it's probably for the best. But yeah, so quick story of how this transpired. So Christopher McQuarrie was the director of Mission Impossible 7, the one that he was a part of, right? And he got a call from Warner Bros. Like, hey, by the way, you know, we need Cavill for reshoots and all this stuff, and he has to shave his mustache. And Chris was like, yeah, absolutely, that's fine. I'll call the hair department and stylist to make a fake mustache for the rest of the movie. And then the Paramount producers heard about this. They're like, shut the fuck up. We are not having him shave his mustache for that stupid movie. They will have to, yeah. If they want him, he's keeping the mustache, and because we have to allow him to go to film that movie, and they have to front the CGI and everything. Meanwhile, Warner Bros. Was begging them to saying like, listen, if he has to shave his mustache or whatever, like we'll pay for all of it. We'll pay for him, pay for the CGI for him to have like the mustache again and all that stuff. Like we'll front it all. We just need to finish this movie. And they're like, nope, he has to keep the mustache or you're not getting him.
Yep.
So Chris was like, all right, dude, I'm just the man in the middle. Don't kill the messenger. So that's why they had to do that, because they were forced at the last second to do it. And that's why it looks so crappy, because they only had like months to fix that in post. So you had the famous, let's see what he looked like. He looked like
it's got to be right there. Yeah, right there. No, right there, right there.
Dude.
Holy fucking shit.
Dude.
It was so bad.
My God, Superman with a mustache would have been cool though. I'm waiting for it to pull up here.
Yeah, that right there also. Do you bleed?
He's such a
Look at that. Oh my
dude.
God. And dude, and that
What?
pisses me off, especially after watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, because like the scene where he's in the cornfield and stuff, and like Lois comes out and then his mom comes, it's like so fucking emotional. And then this version of it is just, it's so dumb. I'm like,
So I remember these pictures, and I was like, that's not. I was like, that's not Henry Cavill. They got somebody else. Like
that's
that's
John
why I didn't
Cavill.
realize that. Yeah, yeah. I was like, I don't know what Henry Cavill looks like. I thought they got like a double for a lot of it.
Look at it.
Wow.
Arguably one of the most like gorgeous men to walk this green earth. To make him look like no, that's just Timo, Superman Timo. Like, geez, man, like, what are they doing here? Like, how did they mess that up so badly? And committed to film. Like, they saw this, were like, good enough. People won't know the difference.
Yeah.
Oh, how they were wrong. Like, it would have been better if they just had this. Like, Superman grew a mustache while he was dead. Perfectly fine.
Yeah, just give him a beard. Exactly. I would have accepted the beard and stuff like that. You know,
but that would have made more for them. That they would have to reshoot everything, all of his scenes instead of saving money and cutting a few things. They used a few of Zack's scenes and some of the post production sites or whatever.
Yeah, and then this movie, they changed Steppenwolf's design. They went ahead and just changed a lot. They changed the Wonder Woman rescue sequence. They really botched Cyborg. I think the most heinous act of reshoots and rewrites is what they did to the Flash. Doc, you've never seen the theatrical cut, but you've seen the Flash movie, right?
Yeah, twice,
Yeah.
3 times.
So the young stupid Barry, that's literally the Flash in Justice League. Like, he's stupid. He's like, I don't save people. I just push people and run away. And I'm just like, oh no. They completely cut the scene where he rescues Iris from the car crash and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one of my
to-
favorite moments in the movie too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show the color grading thing of like how bright it looked from this point. Of like your point of like it's very metallic and shiny.
Yeah, so you see it but here's the real suit in person. Let me see if I can, there we go. So the real suit is still this very dark, a little bit of a dark blue. However, the muscles right here are a little bit more enunciated, and we'll get to why that was done. As Snyder wanted the black suit in the movie, and the studio said no. So they designed the suit with these muscles shining out a little bit more extra than usual. So when they go back, or let's say they release the movie, his version of the movie as is or whatever, or shortened down, whatever, I guess they would have come out with like a black suit edition, and they would have gone back and changed the color of it like they did with the Snyder cut and stuff like that. So that's why this looks like, but I mean, this right here, this looks a lot better than what you just showed, in my opinion. So yeah, the color grading just sucks.
I mean, it
So
kind
the
of leads into
inspiration
some of
for
our
the
collections if you
NI
want to go that way. If you want to,
Yeah, so so this movie was a Frankenstein of a monster. You could just tell, there's some scenes where people were talking to each other, but you could tell they were just like not looking at the person they were talking to, because there was just like reshoots and CG. It was bad. Yeah. So there was that. So, it was received as expected, not well, and it became like a laughing stock. And then eventually this movie, there was starting to be murmurs of that there's a cut, that there's an actual Snyder cut out there of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, it wasn't really called that yet. It was still called Justice League. So there was a user on Twitter. His name was Movies with More. And he was the first one to ever put the hashtag out there, release the Snyder cut. So he was the guy that really started it all, and everyone was using that hashtag online. There were petitions coming, left and right. Please release this. Everyone wanted. There were photos being leaked. I remember that actually, like, I think a week or two after the movie was released, we got to see like a rough VFX work print of Flash saving Iris, where it was like not fully finished and shit. And then we also saw like Cyborg's first flight not fully finished and all that. I was like, holy shit. So there's still scenes out there. You know, so there was a fan campaign. People wanted to see this cut of the movie. And, you know, there's the Comic-Con billboards, the planes flying over Warner Brothers, Times Square completely covered in release the Snyder Cut stuff, you know?
I think that stuff was really what generated the movement from like someone bought out, felt really bad for his, because at the moment, as Zack Snyder, we had no idea why he stepped away.
No. Well, you knew the tragedy. We knew the tragedy, but like we just didn't really know the deep extent of like what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's kind of strange, but the thing was, it was such a fever pitch because what really kind of fueled it was that we had a director's cut of Batman versus Superman, right? And we're like, this is 30 minutes extra, and it's like, this is way better. This explains so much more of like the actions instead of being chopped up. And with the momentum of like, you know, Wonder Woman and, you know, even Shazam 1. Like Shazam 1 is a good movie, guys.
Yes, it is.
Shazam 2, not great. I agree with you, but the first one was good, but it was like this thing of he has such a iconic way of directing and filming a movie that it had to be seen on the full screen, and we had to know the full picture. And with the rumors of like everybody that talked about it, right? Jason Momoa would talk about it. He's like, "Hey guys, you're probably going to talk about it, but I don't want to take away your thunder in your timeline here." But just people talking. Go ahead, Hector. Go ahead.
No, yeah. You know, there was you know, fan backlash is what we'll call it. You know, there's a campaign, release this, come on. And then, you know, the studios keep going to, and what we call scoopers are, you know, these entities that feel that they think they have inside studio knowledge and start leaking all this information and stuff like that. This is where this universe really introduced me to like such a weird part of like movie watching and stuff. Like there's just like these scumbags out in the internet that like for clicks, you know, clickbait articles and all this stuff. And then there's of course the toxic side of the fandom. And I'm just going to say like I was paying attention to this, and I can tell you guys like right now, like everyone just focuses on the toxic, and it was really like maybe about 10, 15 individuals of the actual people who were part of it and actually helped bring this crap out. Like those tweets were always blown way out of proportion, like, you know, of these fucking assholes who were just always toxic. That's why Robert Meyer Burnett like made a comment about it on Mafia stream last night. He's like, oh yeah, you know, he got a fucking ambush by like that side of the fandom like all the time. All the fucking time. Oh yeah, dude. Like I mean I remember seeing that shit on Twitter, you know, and everyone on Collider was also getting like the brunt of it and stuff like that. It was just bad. But like I feel like those individuals should never really be the focus of like what everyone actually has done with the movement to get this movie released.
You're right, because you gotta look at the other side of the coin, like with Star Wars, right? Star Wars has the most toxic fan base of all this, but there's really good people out there too. Like, you know, when Hayden Christensen came back out, or you know the guy who played Jar Jar Binks, I forgot his name, Ahmad Best. Like, you know, we open him with open arms. We're like, you know, it's not your fault. It's not, you know, it's yeah, exactly. And you know, I think that at some point Daisy Ridley will get that same love at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I mean, you know, she is very hot. So you know, it sucks that you know everyone can't, whatever. Not the point I'm making.
I don't know. But did you see the cleaner or whatever?
Oh, that movie where it's Die Hard, but with her. No, I haven't seen it. I need it's on my
should.
watch list.
Yeah.
But you're
It's,
right.
yeah, you should.
The toxic people always the loudest. Don't listen to
Yeah.
them. They're the haters.
Yeah.
There are people out here that want a genuinely a good film because these are heroes we looked up. The number, the three. What is it? It's like the three recognizable symbols. Like the top two spots are Superman and Batman.
Yep.
So like, that people look up to those guys all the time.
That's right.
So they want a good movie, and they don't want to be trounced by like Marvel and all their stuff and how they're doing with everything.
Correct. Yeah.
90 years.
Go ahead, Doc.
90 years. Batman.
That's right.
Yeah.
Soon we'll get a
Should
Superman
be
Batman
recognizable.
horror movie because that shit's about to go free reign and it's about to lose its copyright, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be a public domain.
Public domain. There we go. That shit. I
Yeah.
can't wait till Superman starts murdering people.
We did get that. It's called Brightburn.
Brightburn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But no, back to your thing of like the release the Snyder cut, right? So why, like, there was a fever pitch of that, but like from when you didn't see it, why were you so excited to see like a Snyder version of Justice League? Like, what was it that enticed you to be like, no, I don't care, they released it, they already finished the story, why do I need to see another version of that film?
Are we
to the panel, to you guys, to
Oh.
like Hector or Doc, like what was it before you even saw it? Like, why did you need to see like this version? Doc excluded because he doesn't see anything. So
Well, I can give an explanation.
Go for it.
yeah, go for
Well,
it.
so like, yeah, I had seen, so my Superman for me has actually always been the Fleischer, Superman. It's the animated Superman from the 40s. And so, always, Superman's always just been a guy who's been plugged in. Everyone recognized him as, the good guy, so Man of Steel, comes around and, Zack Snyder throws in those elements where he's an alien. He's dealing with finding out that he's not a human and he's growing up, different from everyone on Earth. How is he going to be treated if he, were to come out with his abilities, etc. Long story short, though, saw Man of Steel, saw the director's cut of Batman versus Superman, but had no interest in finishing it with the Justice League because I just knew how panned it was. But when I heard about the release, the Snyder Cut campaign, I was interested. And so when that finally came out, like it felt like it was capping off like the journey that was started with Man of Steel. And honestly, I think it is an underrated trilogy that people I don't think really, think about too often. Like those three movies, I think tell a very good story, and it is kind of sad though that we're not going to get the conclusion with the nightmare, essentially.
Mhm.
And that is, I think, the little nugget that kept my interest throughout the, you know, Batman versus Superman, and then through the Snyder, it's those little, like what's going on, these little pieces of the puzzle that we're seeing, but unfortunately we're not going to see the whole picture now. But that was that was why I was interested in going with the Snyder cut, because I knew it was going to be the definitive conclusion to those movies.
I envy you.
For real, dude.
I
mean,
know
it's
yeah.
Dude, it was like taking it a nut shot, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was a very big fan of the DC universe, and seeing how we got the Justice League, and then everybody, like, because this was the height of Marvel. Like, Marvel was like, they could do no wrong. They released Ant-Man and it made money,
Yeah.
right? Think about Ant-Man as a character,
Good movie.
and it's like, oh yeah, it's $1 billion franchise. What? How? Like, how does that even happen? And we can't even break $1 billion with a Batman or Superman film. Like, what is happening here?
Right.
So everybody was just dogging DC, and it sucked to know that they're right. So for us to have like a bastion of like the greatest movie to this greatest superhero movie exists, and it's a DC film, but it's yet is held behind a vault door, gave us that kind of idea and impotent like hope that it's just that much better than everything else that's come up before it. Like a vision, a full vision, and a conclusion to what was already set out in stone from Man of Steel.
And I liked your earlier point, Hector, is it's just 3 movies. It's not, you don't have to watch 20 movies to get a story.
Correct. And Zack always said that the solo movies were inevitable. I mean, the Comic-Con of Batman v Superman, I can't remember what year it was, where like Warner Brothers released like their fucking slate of like all the movies. Cyborg was gonna get his own movie. All the solo movies. So he was always going to have his versions of it, but like look, the directors, they're going to do their thing. That's what Zack was all about. He's like, they're going to do their thing with it. I'll give him like just, some tips here and there on like, as far as like plot wise and stuff. But like, if they want to make their movie something completely different than what I'm doing, have at it. Go for it. That's why Aquaman, I love that first Aquaman movie, that James Wan movie, the first one. It is so fucking good as an Aquaman movie because it gives you all the Atlantis lore, the trench, and it gives you the Black Mantis story. Like they literally thought that was going to be the only fucking Aquaman movie. So like, let's just fucking throw everything at this movie and give you like this universe that you've never seen before. Right. And it made $1 billion. It made $1 billion, an Aquaman movie starting fucking Jason Momoa, one of the worst Conans ever, to fucking, by the way, that guy was not pleased with me at a convention. So, I was,
he was not pleasing you at a convention?
No, he was not pleased with me. So, my friend was deathly in love with him. So I told her I was going to go to a Tampa convention. He was there. She's like, "Oh, can you get me his autograph?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I'm like, "What do you want it to say?" She goes, "Oh, the mother of ferrets," because she kind of looked like Khaleesi. She was a coworker of mine. So she kind of looked like the Khaleesi chick, and she had ferrets. So I always called her the mother of ferrets. I wanted to get a picture of him with Conan. And what I wanted on the picture was worst Conan ever. So when I went in line, I gave the lady the money and she's like, "All right, what do you want written on the paper?" And I gave her the mother of ferrets one. I go, "Hold on, wait, I want another signature." And I wrote worst Conan ever. And I gave it to her. She goes, "I can't give this to you." But dude, I don't know if she told him or not to like watch out for me, because as I was coming up to the table, he looked at me like this. He went like ready to do something. So I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Oh," I handed him the thing. He's like, "Mother of ferrets, what the fuck is that?" I was like, "Oh, it's my coworker." And I was like, I knew right then and there. I was like, "Oh, this guy fucking knows that." I was like, damn. So yeah, if I ever meet Jason Momoa, he's going to be like, "That motherfucker." But no, he sucked as Conan. I don't give a shit.
You did suck as Conan. It wasn't great. I'll tell him, like, dude, I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did with Conan, but it wasn't good, dude. You gotta do something else.
So, you know what? I see Suicide Squad there. I totally forgot to talk about Suicide Squad. That's another whole story of another version of a movie that exists out there that the studio doesn't want to release and shit. That was reshot. There was a campaign for it, man, and
yeah. Oh, you son of a bitch, dude.
But yeah, there was that right there.
That's what the studios did to the fans. Right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every day.
So, this campaign is going, and the studio is trying their hard to say it doesn't exist, and having all these Hollywood Reporter articles come out and saying that it doesn't exist, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Then things start dropping. So Zack Snyder was very heavily involved with the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, ASP or something like that. And he put up a shirt design, and it was this shirt right here.
Whoa, you got it?
Oh yeah, this is the first one. Oh, dude, I got all of them. So this shirt it was called Against All Gods, and it's like a little it's like a puzzle, and it's pretty much, if you kind of look at it, it pretty much tells you the story of Justice League. And you can tell by, here's Superman, the knife which says kata blah blah blah, which is Latin for apocalypse. Either that or it's Latin for dark side. Going through the world, and there's the Omega symbol. And then there's a coffin. And there's Batman.
Oh no.
And why is there sperm going down here and there's a baby there, right?
That's weird,
because he got I'll let you finish the story. Sorry.
Because Batman got Lois Lane pregnant, right? So so that's Lois Lane and Bruce Wayne's baby. And he was gonna, so in the original story, Bruce Wayne time travels back to the Batcave to save Lois from getting killed by Darkseid, and Lois is pregnant. So he dies instead of Lois, and Superman doesn't turn bad. So in the future, Lois's baby becomes the next Batman of Gotham. So so this is the story of Justice League, and people are like, oh my god, wait, what is this? Blah blah blah. More pictures start releasing from Snyder's Vero account, all in black and white, of scenes that we've never seen before. Some storyboards that he drew of scenes that he's never done before. And it was like, oh, okay, so, right. So this all was happening on like 2018, 2019. And there's this big Twitter event, right? Where Zack was kind of encouraging people to release the hashtag, release the Snyder Cut. And it was getting retweeted, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Fans are doing it, and they're like, this is weird. What's happening? All of a sudden, Gal Gadot tweets, hashtag, release the Snyder Cut. We're like, holy shit. Jason Momoa on his Instagram, release the Snyder Cut. Holy shit. Cyborg, Ray Fisher release the Snyder Cut. We're like, holy shit. But no one knew that Ben Affleck himself on Twitter would say, release the Snyder Cut and hashtag. We're like, holy fucking shit. And I think that's the one that got retweeted the most. So this hashtag got tweeted like 1.27 million times. And what we didn't really know was, like, I think Zack was trying to gather data together to show Warner Brothers, there's a demand for this. Let's do this. So that was there. There were murmurs, the scoopers, all those people who took advantage of that fandom with clickbait articles going, oh, it's coming. Don't worry. You guys won. It's coming. Don't worry. But there was never an official word. There was nothing. So a few days go by. Nothing happens. We're like, oh, okay. We start getting some more teases, some more pictures from Zack's Vero and stuff like that. So on November 17th, that was it. COVID happens. COVID comes. HBO Max has a streaming service now. So everyone's like, let's bombard HBO Max accounts with release the Snyder Cut, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Zack Snyder has like a little Vero Batman v Superman watch along. And it's like, of the director's cut, he's just sitting there and he's showing off all his storyboards, talking about the movie and stuff as everyone's watching along. And the movie ends and stuff like that. He's like, yeah. And he's like, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a sequel to this? And the camera just cuts off. And we're like, what the fuck was all that about? So a few days later, another shirt gets released. This time, it says Zack Snyder's Justice League, and if you got the sweatshirt, it'll have all the heroes, the symbols.
Oh,
with
X-Men,
with Martian Manhunter, and wait a minute, on the other side with the Green Lantern. what the fuck's going on here? What is going on? And then more pictures start leaking. And then like him and his production crew, they're quoting Excalibur, which Excalibur, if you kind of watch Batman v Superman and stuff like that, so that Excalibur was like also Joseph Campbell's what I forgot what it's called, the hero's journey. The hero's journey. So that plus Excalibur was what heavily influenced Zack Snyder for like the Superman story. So like in Excalibur, like when Arthur gets pierced by the spear, he draws himself closer to, you know, kill his enemy. Superman does the same thing with Doomsday. He brings himself closer to bring in the spear to kill Doomsday. So there's all these like pictures of Excalibur from Zack and like his crew members and other people. And if you like kind of zoom in, there's like some Snyder Cut references like within the swords and shit like that. It was really cool. So then comes along, he does a watch along of Man of Steel. And this was May, if I got my date right, maybe May 2020.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
During COVID, yeah.
Yeah, which is funny because it's literally like a year, maybe two. Let me see here. Getting distracted. Anyways, he's doing a watch along with Man of Steel, and here comes Henry Cavill, and they're talking the movie and stuff, and then a whole bunch of people come up, and they're like, "When are you gonna release it?" Some ladies like, "Release it. What are you doing with the, you know, the featuring? Aye, you know,
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia, release it, the Snyder Cut." And he goes, "Well." He's like, I have a cut, but it's not finished. And he's like, I do have this. And he turns the camera, and there it is, Zack Snyder's Justice League, HBO Max, coming 2021. And I was like, holy shit, dude. I was at work. I was actually listening to like just the watch along on my headset. And I remember just being like, just working on a ticket. And when he's like, we have this. And I start hearing people screaming. I go, what the fuck? Like there's like a teacher like right there. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, oh no, yeah. So I grabbed my phone and I saw the picture. And I'm like, oh my God. So that same day, I guess, I don't know how long this was already like been in the works, but pretty much HBO Max and Snyder made a deal. And that same day that they announced that the Snyder Cut was coming, it was either Variety or the Hollywood Reporter came out with an article that they interviewed Zack, and they were saying how Toby Emmerich came. It's like, okay, hey, look, let's release it. And these sons of bitches still didn't really want to fully put any money to it. They just wanted to get what was on his hard drive, an unfinished movie, and just put it on the streaming service as like a bonus Easter egg to their shitty movie. And Zack was like, no, I don't want to do that. It's cool. We don't want that shit. It's fine. Mm-hmm. So they convinced him, okay, we'll do it your way. And they gave him extra money to finish it. And they finished it, and they added more scenes. And so that wait between the movie, I'm probably talking too much. I should probably let you guys talk.
There's one thing that you missed out, is that people were asking, is it real? Right? And then he dropped this. It's like, of course it's real.
Yes. So I'm skeptical of that. I think that's not really his reels. I think that's just like a prop for that Army of the Dead movie. Like as an Easter egg.
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think what people really recognize is that the Warner Brothers executives had such a fast turnaround on this, and what they were doing is that he was filming Army of the Dead and put this in the film because he didn't have an idea that this was actually going to happen. Like Zack Snyder was fully content of like, it's never going to get released. But I'll happily just keep telling people like, it does exist. I have it. Here it is. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what was in here, because he was filming this movie, and then he got the green light for the other film, and he's like, he had to do double duty of editing this one, filming new scenes for, you know, as you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah.
For the new version of the Justice League.
No. So, what are your guys' reaction and thoughts on that announcement and stuff? Where were you?
So I don't know where I was, but I knew I was excited, and I was really I was kind of dumbfounded. I'm like, we're actually getting this? Like, this is actually happening, and like we're actually getting it on HBO Max, which was at that time relatively very new of their streaming service, because they had HBO Max or whatever it was, and they didn't defer the two at that moment of like, hey, this is our primary streaming service. So this was like their premiere opening the gates, the cutting the red ribbon of what we can provide to everybody, and it wasn't even available in all these countries. So the demand for the Snyder Cut was so crazy is that people in Brazil were like, "Hey, are we getting this? Like, what do we need to do? Or do I have to pirate this thing so I can watch it?" And Zach's like, "No, wait, don't do that. This will ruin everything. Just sign up. We'll figure this out. Don't worry about it." But I don't specifically remember where it was, but I remember saying like, "All right, we're finally getting like the true version of what should have been Justice League, and I can't wait to see it."
I was probably sitting at home, that's for sure. It was definitely lockdown.
Yeah.
Still around that time. Yeah. At home.
Lucky you. I was considered an essential worker because I work IT for teachers and shit like that. And being here in the great state of Texas, where we don't believe in vaccinations or diseases or anything like that, they're like, "All right, fuck it, fuck work from home, just come back, just wear a mask."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just wear a mask and we'll give you $500 to vaccinate yourself.
If you want to be.
That's right. So yeah, I was working. I was not fortunate to work from home, but so yeah, this thing gets announced, released, and well, not released yet, because there's there's more shit happening behind the scenes again with the studio. Zack wanted to include the Green Lantern as that final scene, and they were like, "Nope, sorry, you can't use Green Lantern because we have plans for him." But they're constantly saying in the press that this movie means nothing. It's a cul-de-sac, it leads to nowhere. So why would they have an issue of him using Green Lantern just to cap off his movie if it's not going to get, if that shit's not going to continue, So they just kept bullying him, and actually it's pretty funny. Like, I think all this is WB, like that regime of like Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich, they were just really just sour on this guy for some reason. It's like they fucked their mom. And it's the same thing, like Zack Snyder, everyone treats like his movies like they personally like just fucked their mom in the ass. There he is.
No.
There's the Green Lantern.
God.
There's Wayne T. Carr as John Stewart.
Yeah.
That was filmed on Zack Snyder's driveway, with some green screen and stuff.
You did a great job. I wish they put it in. I wish Zach just put it on Vero and just be like, "Hey, we're just going to release this." Just by the way.
Yeah. Actually, the Justice is Gray version had an alternate cut of that nightmare sequence where he says we live in a society, whatever you hear in the trailer. That was going to be included in the black and white version, but of course they were like, "No, we don't want to do that." So DC, during lockdown, there was no convention. So DC was like, "Let's make our own convention called DC Fandom," where it was like an interactive, it was an interactive convention for
they announced Black Adam, I think.
Black Adam, right? The Batman. You saw the Batman for like the first time. That's when they revealed that red thing. The
Flash.
The Flash.
Ezra Miller.
We were gonna get our first look at like a good teaser trailer for this movie, and then 3 hours before the events start, it gets leaked online. So it didn't really do much. It didn't really do that much damage. People like that reveal during the fandom still saw like a good amount of numbers because people were like, "Oh, fuck that." But dude, of course, that trailer was awesome. It had that song Hallelujah in the background. You saw shit you've never seen before. You see Dark Side, you're like, "Oh my fucking god!" All shit. It was fucking awesome. And even during this time, even before like its release, it still didn't really have an official name. It was just called Snyder Cut for now. And it even had a hashtag where you hashtag Snyder Cut on Twitter. And if you did that, it'll give you like the Justice League symbol next to it and stuff like that. So it wasn't even called Zack Snyder's Justice League at this time. So he's still trying to fight for his vision, even though it's like what the fuck, dude? Like if this means nothing, just let this dude just do his shit and just fucking move on, right? I forgot where I was gonna go.
You're talking about the fandom and all that stuff. Sorry, I'm looking it up right now, and I'm trying to find the little release thing that they had. of it because I think it was in 2020, right?
It was. Let me check my notes here.
Yeah. Because they announced two things during that time.
Yeah.
So here's the first look at the Batman of what we got. So this
Whoa.
was in 2020. This was the only thing that we got from the Batman. And then among that, we actually got Wonder Woman 84.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, fun one.
Yeah.
Some fun hot toys from that though. I love the golden suit. But yes, it was the Zack Snyder Justice League was coming, and this was how they were going to announce it. So they have a few others. The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn. They were like, "Hey, James Gunn's doing a sequel." This was after he was fired and all that stuff, and it was going to be a loose sequel. And then Black Adam. So it was pretty big.
Yep.
And then Arrowverse and all that stuff. And then they were talking about the Flash, which is a whole different thing.
That's what we saw. We saw the concept art with Keaton and the Flash and the Batcave and stuff like that. We saw that. Yeah. Yeah. It was a fun time. It was a fun time to be a DC fan.
Right around when I accidentally ended up with the DC collection.
That's right.
I still think it's one of my favorite Hot Toys line is that it's so kind of out there. Like one of the recent ones that I'm absolutely stoked to see is the Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin.
That's right. Of course you should be excited.
That's right. Terrible movie, but great figure.
Oh, fantastic.
Everyone should buy one.
Honestly, man, I think the thing is like people just don't get it. It's that Marty McFly is like, it's like, hey, you don't get it, but your kids will love it later because
right. It's funny you mentioned Marty though, because I'm gonna stick my Mr. Freeze in one of those DeLoreans
with the Biff cane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and with one of my 4 Biffs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's hype around the release of this movie. Merchandise is starting to come out left and right. I mean, I bought a shitload of shirts. Reebok had like limited editions of well, I don't have it here, but I have like a Batman one. It's like artists drew like these designs for shirts and shit like that. Action figures. Yeah, man.
This guy right here.
Yes. They announced that 2-pack that some people were clamoring for that Nightmare version of the, re-release the Nightmare, please. And they did with the 2-pack with the black suit Superman. So that shit was awesome. And then of course, Warner Brothers also tried to sabotage the release of that movie when Tom and Jerry was out. I don't know if you remember that. When Tom and Jerry made it onto HBO Max, some lucky people got to see half of Zack Snyder's Justice League because they would pick fucking Tom and Jerry and it would start playing Justice League.
No way.
Yeah. So it was going on for like 2 hours. People actually saw like half the movie and shit. Like I think a week or two before the movie actually came out.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
That UI is so janky as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, HBO. Sorry, Dylan was asking. Wasn't HBO Max still called DC something back then?
I'm streaming, baby.
So the HBO Max wasn't called DC. It was like there was a DC adjacent where you would have all the DC things, and like they kind of separated it out. Like you get all the comics, you get all the movies and all that stuff, and then they kind of folded that into HBO Max. So it was like a separate. Whatever.
I think it was called DC.
Like DC Connect.
No, I can't remember because it's so
Unlimited.
No, it might have been DC Unlimited.
No, it's it's called it's called DC Infinite now. So they got rid. So it used to be just a all DC thing, which was like my dream come true. Right? It was all the comic books, every single show, every single movie, like even like 70 specials. I love like fucking Star Wars holiday special, like those really fucking like variety shows and shit that Adam West had. It didn't have Batman 66 obviously because Fox owns that, but it was like amazing. it was the first time we were able to stream the Adventures of Superman and Lois. So we're watching that. The first time we were able to stream the Flash 90 show. It was like such a great thing, but unfortunately, and then we got like the originals. We got Swamp Thing was an amazing show. If no one's ever seen Swamp Thing, please log into HBO Max right now and check that show out. It's a shame it got canceled because, again, this studio just keeps getting sold to like these companies like AT&T. They came in, they were still kind of broke from the acquisition of Warner Brothers. So AT&T, they came in and they just was like, look, this show's too expensive to produce, because it was literally like the Swamp and Swamp Thing was a giant studio.
It wasn't that at all. It wasn't that. It wasn't because it was too expensive.
Wait a minute.
It's because this was the reason Swamp Thing was canceled. It was because of a accountant mistake. An accountant was doing the numbers and they wrote the wrong numbers in, and they got the wrong kickback. So when you're filming in a certain places, like in Georgia, and it's a movie title, like you get like a couple million back because you filmed there. And this accountant messed up on the numbers and what they basically coded the movie as, or the show as. So they lost a ton of money on that show right off the bat before it was filmed. That's why it was canceled before it was even premiered. So they can count it as a loss immediately within that year, even though it was well produced, it was well acted, and well told. So that's a whole separate story on its own of like just what a lots of fucked up behind the scene.
Yeah, just total
Hollywood accounting.
Yeah,
George Lucas knows it best.
Yeah. All right. Oh man, we're kind of going a little bit over here. All right, so the movie gets released. It's a positive on the Rotten Tomato score, right? It's a positive. I think it's at 79, maybe 79%, maybe 71.
I'll check it out.
Something there. It got a lot of good reviews. Of course, there's still haters of it and shit like that, but it's literally like the most box office accessible movie out of like those three Snyderverse movies, because it's like your typical superhero movie. Like it makes you feel good. Like, I don't understand when people call it, again, I don't understand when people call it dark when there's a scene where Cyborg helps out a fucking poor mom, and like he has the ability to give her like, some money so she can just live her fucking life. Like that's an amazing scene. But no, it's fucking dark, right? So
they're stupid. People don't understand the difference between light and dark. Like, if it's light, it has to be full of humor and excellent, and everything has to be happy and stuff. And I'm like, if it's real and grounded, it's the darkest version. I'm like, it's a reality. Like, people can be good in darkest times, right? That's what makes humanity great. But it is the ratings are 71, 92% of audience ratings.
Look at that.
So
that's the highest Snyder of the three right there, is that movie. And deservedly so. It's a really good movie.
Movies.
And if you go to Electric State, let's see what this is. Wow, 15% on Rotten Tomato, but 71 on the audience. Wow, I didn't expect that to be that big. Whoa. Oh, wait, hold on. One more. Craven, let's see what they got. What? 73% audience? All right. Maybe we are a little drunk. Maybe we are a little drunk as an audience.
Well, here, I have a good American Pie, Naked Mile.
What? Right. Let's see.
99% Rotten Tomato score.
American Pie, Bandcamp, Girls Rule, Naked Mile. Here we go. There's a few of these. Survey says we got a 0 on the for the critic review. But
that just
all right, before I release, what do you think? Price is Right. Close without going over. What is the audience review?
I'm gonna say
Hector go first. Hector go first. All right.
71%.
71%. You have to be close without going over. You sure about that?
Let's go.
71, 42. Survey says it is 61%. Doc is the winner because you went over. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, wait, we do have a soundboard in here. I forgot how that works, but someone could do that.
You're out there. Ready?
Bullshit.
All right, there we go. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie gets released, and it does well, and then once again here come like there's just so much drama like tied to this fucking shit. Like now you're starting hearing murmurs of like this universe being restored because Ben Affleck is showing up in the Flash, or he's showing up in Aquaman and stuff. But then before that, it was supposed to be Michael Keaton was going to be the Batman of the universe and stuff. It's just so much mishandling. They don't just no clear vision of like what they want. And, now we're here. This is where it got us to. Now it's James Gunn's turn to do this. And
and the thing was, it's like, to the credit, James Gunn, they asked James Gunn, they're like, can you salvage this? Can you come in and make something work here? Because there is a fandom to it, because if you remember Black Adam, that ending with Superman showing up, people were like, this is the high point. This is what we want. We want Cavill back as Superman. And there was even a hashtag for that.
Dude,
but
I don't know who's fucked that up.
We know. I know. I can tell you.
He's hard as a rock, that's for sure.
Fucking Dwayne Johnson, right?
I have him over there. He's over there. But
I'm not doing this movie without Henry and Superman.
Yeah. Well, I honestly feel like that last credit scene or whatever the fuck, I think that was added like way after the fact, as people were like, they kept bringing up that old picture of them from like 2015 or 2016 or some shit like that, because they share the same manager or whatever. And
because the thing is, it's like that. The thing, they do share the same manager, but there's more to it than that one scene. Because he did film that scene, right, for the Black Adam, but he also filmed the Flash.
Yeah.
So there was a third scene, right? The Flash had like 4 endings, I think.
Yep.
Or 3 or 4 endings. And he filmed one where he was back with Supergirl, Wonder Woman, and Keaton Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it with the Flash. Like, hey, we're here, we're gonna help out and all that stuff. So that's why he tweeted out, it's like, hey, didn't want to break the news, but I'm back as Superman. Because they had him on these different projects, and then all of a sudden they're like, no. And then we got the version where the Flash is condemned to the George Clooney universe. So he's there with Mr. Freeze and everything. That's where he ends up.
The Hot Toys know something.
And funny enough, that's right. Yeah, my Flash.
That's where he goes. They're like, everybody's gone off to wherever, to this hellhole.
Yeah, well, that's it. Do you guys want to add anything else before we do our closing final goodbyes?
I mean, there's so much to this. Like, I mean, this could be a whole documentary of just the DC universe and how and like just having a black and white situation of like, without a Kevin Feige, right, to guide this whole thing, you will fail at creating a universe, because it's happened to every single other universe. Like right now, DC, yes. Star Wars is another one that has failed without a flagship author to kind of guide it with other leadership. The third one that tried and failed, that no one really talks about anymore, was the Dark Universe, the Universal Monster version. Where
that's right.
With Tom Cruise, and they did a whole like photo shoot of who's doing what, and they're like, yeah, no. So it's a very tricky soap, and people don't give Kevin Feige enough credit here, even though that they're in a floundering position. But that's more of studio meddling than it does with Feige. But closing things, to me, if you had a side by side of all the the superhero movies, what will come out on top? This is the best, by far, the best superhero movie, because it encompasses so much, and it has the beginning, middle, end, and it does so much with the time frame, and with the characters, individualizing them. I think it is the best superhero movie ever made.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Doc, your final thoughts.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's it is one of my, like, I do think that this trilogy will be like a cult classic if it's not already. It's because of, the story like surrounding everything that happened through all the development cycles of like, I think Man of Steel, I think was probably the only one that went off without like a hitch. But like, everything else in between with Batman versus Superman and then the Justice League, they were just like all somewhat cursed, if you will, or just, had some curveball that they had to deal with. Um but yeah. I love the Snyder cut a lot. Like I think it really um, brought a lot of attention to a franchise that I kind of forgotten about for a long time, and I do appreciate those movies for that.
All right. Yeah. I wouldn't say, like I said earlier, that I think Man of Steel is still my favorite one. There's just some things about the Snyder cut. Well, it's like one of the biggest issues I have with the Snyder cut is just the themes that are reused, especially with Wonder Woman. Like she blows her nose and it's like, ah, like they overdo it with that.
The what do they call the angelic
Yeah,
vocals or whatever? Yeah, that was it's a bit overindulgent.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, dude, I mean, I listen to that score on a daily basis, and like when her theme is on, it's like 5 minutes of like the same type of like beat and everything. I'm like, all right, I gotta move on to the next track because I'm in hell right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, I stayed up till 3 a.m, the release night, to watch it as soon as it went on the service. And I watched it twice back to back. So like I was just like on no sleep, and that movie gave me so many emotions, because of being just just heavily invested in it outside of it, with the campaigning and just the feelingness of getting screwed over, and like redemption. And I will always love this movie. I can always watch it in one sitting easily. That's the beauty of this movie too, is that it's 4 hours long, but it doesn't feel 4 hours. It may feel like almost a 3 hour movie to me.
Yeah.
Definitely not 4 hours. Yeah, it's a great movie. I'm glad it happened. Will it go on after this? I don't know. Never say never. I don't think so. Don't be surprised if a comic book comes out about it or an animated movie. I don't know.
But I mean, listen,
release part 2.
I honestly think the way they're doing it, because we have the Batman universe, we could get a finished version of this film.
Correct.
So,
we could, but we also have to remember this film was shot 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So everyone is 9 years older. So I don't know if these dudes want to get back.
It could. I mean, Ben Affleck came back. He suffered through so much alcohol. He's looking to put the suit back on. The one thing that this movie has, and the whole DC universe has, over all the other franchises, is that it won the Oscar vote for the best scene ever.
For the Flash again. This is what the movie. It gave you a heroic Barry Allen. Despite what people fucking think about the actor and everything like that, let's separate that. But like, the Flash was heroic in this version of the movie. He saved people without a second thought, without being scared. He told them, I can do some weird shit when I really start running fast, like time starts doing some crazy shit. And he saves the world. He saves the world by going back in time.
Superman dies.
So everyone dies.
Yeah.
The whole world dies. Steppenwolf, I felt oh man, we could probably go on another 2 hours. I'm trying not to do that. But like, dude, like you kind of feel for Steppenwolf as a villain, because all he wants is redemption from his uncle. That's all he wants. He wants to come back home. So like you see it in his puppy dog eyes and shit like that when like Darkseid comes through the fucking thing. That fucking scene is it's hard, man. It's like that fucking, he's all like, Steppenwolf. It's so awesome. Like this is a DC nerd's wet dream. Like new gods are involved here now. Yeah, like I'm going on a tangent. Great
No,
movie.
You're fine. You're good. I love it. 'Cause,
Great
like, someone,
movie. Dude,
because I know
I
exactly
love
what
it.
you're talking about. Because someone did the Steppenwolf like baby eyes. They're like, oh,
Yes,
look at him.
dude.
What a
He
baby he's got.
he goes on his knees to
Yeah.
plead, like, dude, what do I have to do? And then he finds out that the anti-life equation's on Earth, and he's like, dude, Desaad, you better tell this motherfucker to get here. I found it, and that's it. He's like, dude, that's right.
It's a redemption. He's looking for his redemption.
Exactly. And like, dude, like, he's so close, and he succeeds. He succeeds, but Flash is like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Fuck you. See you in hell.
Yeah, man.
Like, he fought the Justice League on his
a certain
own.
point of view.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then this is the last one BML show there. So. Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks. I want to thank the two people who stayed with us the whole time, right? Is that who we have? Two people watching? I'm sure maybe
Six, I
one.
think it's six.
Yeah.
It's probably just us with our browsers open.
No.
Now,
What are you talking about?
Jack, Chris, Dylan.
Yeah. If you're still in the
Bob,
chat,
and
say
Green,
something.
Rackamon.
Yeah. If you're there.
We had, I
please.
think, 12 people at one time, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Well, thanks for everyone to tuning in. This show will get productionally better, I hope. I've just found a video.
Worse.
A couple
Leave a like.
worse.
Please leave a like, subscribe, share. Tell us what we can do different.
Yeah,
We'll do more.
Schmegma.
We don't. Yeah, we still don't know what we kind of want this show to be. I don't want the show to be like another. Hey, this came out this week, or we will always involve penis somehow.
Yeah, this will be our fucking mascot, dude. Right here.
Right here. That will always be the thumbnail. We should actually we should Photoshop it. Like, we'll have like the faces of us on the thumbnail, and like Photoshop the balls like on our nose or some shit like that. Whatever.
It's our new COVID masks.
Yeah, but I think from the first episode we realized that we can't just always be like, fuck it, just do random talk and stuff like that, because it might not. We have no direction to go off. So I would like for this show to not just strictly be like Hot Toys. There's 50 different other streamers out there that do the same thing and stuff like that, and that space is covered.
Yeah.
So,
but do they have hair like us?
I don't know.
I need a haircut.
No, don't do it. That's the theme of the show, Doc. You have to be like,
Well, no. I just need, I feel like my oils in my hair have all been
you gotta
away by
look.
my hard water.
Listen, you got voluptuous hair over there. Like, it looks like you could try to tame it, but it's not going to work at all. So
maybe I'll
life is pain.
Maybe I'll shave everything and put my hair down like JD Vance.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, you do kind of got
awesome. All right. Well, thank you to the lovely panel. Hopefully we'll be back. I don't know when. Thank you to all the viewers. Hopefully, if you listen to us and we made you go to sleep, then we have succeeded as a podcast, because that's what I usually do to go to bed. Once again, thank you. Oh no, it's ASMR.
Yes. Last night, this morning.
That's right. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Love you all. Thank you very much. See you all later. Yeah.